These American classics should have become legends, but hardly anyone saw them. Number 2 on this list flopped so hard, it didn't even make back a quarter of its budget. And number 5 features an iconic Italian actor in a role that's been nearly forgotten. Bringing Out the Dead is one of Martin Scorsese's most underrated gems, and it's an intense ride. Nicolas Cage stars as Frank Pierce, a paramedic in New York City on the brink of losing his mind from the weight of all the lives he couldn't save. It's like Taxi Driver, but this time the chaos is on a stretcher with jarring visuals, breakneck editing, and a psychological roller coaster that never lets you breathe. Cage delivers one of his most overlooked performances, backed by a wild Tom Sizemore, the ever-reliable John Goodman, and a sweet Patricia Arquette. Harvey Keitel was everywhere in the 90s, but City of Industry flew under the radar. It's a gritty crime thriller with Keitel as Roy Egan, a retired criminal who's dragged back into the game for one last heist. After a bloody double-cross, it turns into a revenge tale, as Roy hunts down his partner, played by Stephen Dorff, who's slimy as ever. The cast, including Timothy Hutton and Lucy Liu, is rock solid, but it's Keitel's low-key performance that steals the show. 20 Bucks is one of those rare films where the premise is as simple as it is brilliant. We follow a single $20 bill as it passes through the hands of a city's most colorful characters, from a homeless woman to a bride-to-be to a pair of bumbling crooks. Featuring Brendan Fraser, Steve Buscemi, and Christopher Lloyd, this quirky film is a perfect snapshot of 90s indie cinema. Based on a script written in the 1930s, City of Industry was shot on a modest budget of around $8 million, yet failed to make back even a quarter of that at the box office. In Fearless, Jeff Bridges delivers one of his most haunting performances as Max Klein, a man who survives a horrific plane crash and walks away forever changed. Max becomes emotionally distant from his family and strangely fearless, developing an almost superhuman detachment from life's dangers. Directed by Peter Weir, the film explores trauma and the fragility of existence, with Bridges and co-star Rosie Perez giving it their all. Used People is a hidden gem starring Shirley MacLaine and Marcello Mastroianni in a charming, bittersweet romantic comedy set in Queens, New York. MacLaine plays a widow trying to navigate life, while Mastroianni arrives as a charming Italian man who turns her world upside down. It's full of great performances from an ensemble cast that includes Kathy Bates, Jessica Tandy, and Joe Pantoliano. Directed by Beeban Kidron, it's a film with a lot of heart, subtle humor, and an old-school Woody Allen vibe. Overlooked for far too long, it's one of those movies that feels like a warm hug. If you can find it, it's worth the watch. The 90s was a golden era for thrillers, and Double Jeopardy brought all the suspense. Ashley Judd plays Libby Parsons, a woman wrongfully convicted of her husband's murder. Except he's still very much alive. After doing time, she's out for revenge, with Tommy Lee Jones chasing her down. The film mixes high-stakes action with just enough twists to keep you hooked. Judd and Jones are a perfect duo, and their tense back and forth makes this one of the most underrated thrillers of the decade. Steve Buscemi leads this oddball comedy horror, playing Ed, a hardware store owner who can't seem to move on from his mother's death. When a salesman offers to bring her back, Ed jumps at the chance, only to find she's not quite the same woman anymore. Full of dark humor and bizarre antics, Ed and His Dead Mother is a quirky gem that borders on the absurd. It didn't get much love from critics at the time, but Buscemi's performance has helped it grow into a cult classic. Diggstown brings boxing and con artistry together in one wild ride. James Woods stars as a smooth-talking ex-con who bets a fortune that his aging fighter, played by Louis Gossett Jr., can knock out 10 locals in one day. It's a classic underdog story, with Woods and Gossett Jr. up against the town's corrupt leader, played by Bruce Dern. With sharp dialogue and a fast-paced plot, this movie deserved way more attention than it got, especially for Woods' slick performance. Despite having Al Pacino, John Cusack, and a script co-written by Paul Schrader, City Hall slipped under the radar. It's a political thriller that dives deep into corruption, following a deputy mayor as he uncovers a mob connection after a tragic shootout. Pacino gives a strong performance as a New York mayor with too many secrets, and Cusack holds his own as the idealistic investigator. If you missed this one, it's time to give it the recognition it deserves. Dennis Hopper's Catchfire is one of those films that's as strange as its production history. Jodie Foster stars as a woman on the run after witnessing a mob hit, and Hopper plays the hitman tracking her down, only to fall for her. The film had a troubled release, with Hopper even trying to disown it, but there's something oddly captivating about the mix of romance, suspense, and surreal moments. Plus, the cast includes Joe Pesci, Vincent Price, and Bob Dylan. You really just have to see it to believe it.